Hey, it's Chris, and today I want to talk to you about why you need an email list. Now, a couple of videos ago, I sort of started into that about, the advantages of having an email list and why you actually should have one and the importance of it. Now, I want to dig a little bit deeper into this why. Now, essentially, the whole idea is that if you build your, empire or tribe or whatever you want to call it on, say, social media, you're not operating by your own rules. You're operating by someone else's rules. They own the platform. So someone else owns the platform and they can change the rules whenever they want. And this has happened so many times in the past, with people who have done a bunch of stuff for like SEO their site on Google, and then Google changes the algorithm. Facebook will suddenly change their rules in terms of, your followers or what's allowed, or, in terms of Facebook ads or whatever it is. There's all kinds of different things that are constantly changing. And all you have to do is actually think back to MySpace. Think of all the people that were on MySpace that had a huge following, and then look what happened to it. So you never want to be in that position. You never want to be, basically at someone else's mercy when it comes to your business. So the great thing about an email list is it's yours. It's your biggest asset, in fact. It's the biggest thing that you've got that is going to help your business grow and really make things happen. So the way to start an email list is, you're going to draw people in through, you can do it through social media, you can do it through ads, you can do it through, AdWords or whatever. There's many ways of drawing people in, and we'll cover that later. But when you get them into your list, the whole idea is to offer them valuable content. So you want to give them something that's super valuable every time that they watch your video or they get your emails or whatever you're sending them. You're going to want to make sure that you're deserving the fact that they trusted you with their email address, because if you're anything like me, your inbox is pretty sacred, right? You don't just hand it out to anybody. I don't want to get spammed. I don't want to be on someone's list that's irrelevant to what I'm doing, or if I feel like it's a scam or something like that, I'm out, right? And you definitely, when you start your list, you definitely will always want to come across as trustworthy as you can, which can be difficult at the beginning because you're going to be doing an ad. Like a lot of you came in on a Facebook ad for me, and you've got to put a lot into just a few sentences and that basically that copy. So you've got to figure out ways of doing that. And again, that's another video about how to kind of do that sort of thing. But the essence of it is transparency, trustworthiness, and when people are on your list, you need to continue to deserve them. And the whole idea of hopefully the whole idea of what you're doing when you're recording is you're trying to help artists make their dreams come true. Whether they're trying to build their fan base or win a song contest or get on the radio or go after labels or licensing to TV and film or whatever they're trying to do musically, ultimately the greatest reward is really having them over the moon about what you do, right? And building that reputation. Now, at the beginning, we all kind of start for I think things like greed and things like that at the top are great motivators, and they're, you want to get out there, you want to make some money, you want to do this, you want to do that, and it's about you, and that's fine, when you get going. But once you actually kind of get there, you find that the biggest reward is, giving back. I know it sounds a little weird if you're not there yet, but you'll definitely find that when the money doesn't matter and the number of growing your business any larger matters a lot less. You get the greatest joy about helping people achieve their dreams. And that's one of the great things about an email list, is that those people are engaged with you at that level. They're not casual social media folks and stuff like that who sort of flit around and come and go. They're not people who are just curious. They're not committed. Like, that's one thing about an email list, is people are committed when they sign on. It's a micro commitment when they sign their name and their email address on there. They're committing to you, and you are relevant to them. And that's the biggest connection that you can have, that leads to growing your business, and then leads to that great relationship that you can have with them when you start to get success, help them get success for their music. And I have to say that's one of the biggest payoffs of Sundown Session Studio, and the thing I love the most is getting those emails back from people and seeing them win and succeed. It's massive. So the email list is the key to this. It's the key to the tribe, it's the key to the family, whatever you want to call that. Now, the other reason that you're going to send them content on a regular basis, like, usually every week or whatever, is you need to keep the list warm. That's, marketing speak. There's a cold list and a warm list. And a warm list is a list that is prepared to, basically buy from you. So if you are, you've got your virtual studio going and you want people to record with you and pay you money to do that, if you basically keep your list warm and they feel really engaged with you and they trust you and they feel like you're going to be able to provide them with that success, they're going to pay you to do it. And that's called keeping your list warm. And to keep a list warm, you want to send regular content out to them, to valuable content, to make them feel like you are helping them. You are helping them, but you want them to really understand that. And you can now there's a big debate about how often you should send stuff. I tend to send things like once a week. There are people who send stuff every day, and it might work in certain markets and stuff, but I feel like in our market that's a bit much. I mean, I get pretty sick of that. At least my personality type would get pretty sick of that. I'd probably unsubscribe in 2 seconds. So, just vibe out your clients or your artists, and it also depends on what you have to offer, like how much stuff you have to offer them. A lot of them might want to hear from you every 3 days, right? So that's just something that you can test and figure out over time. But the whole thing is make sure that you regularly send things out that are valuable, and that is called keeping your list warm. And then the other really cool thing about an email list is that you can tell who opens your emails and who clicks on the videos. So I'm watching you. No, it's not like individually, right? It's basically you look at your statistics, right? So if I put this video out and I have like a bigger than normal open rate, I'll assume that basically the subject, the title of the email was effective, right? It was somebody got people's attention, they thought that's good, or the subject matter was interesting. You don't really know exactly what it is, but it gives you a really good clue about what people want, because you want to give them relevant things and things that they're going to use, so you can really tell by your statistics about what people are opening, what they're looking at, and what is kind of basically getting them going, like what they're interested in. And then it helps you hone that. You want to give people stuff that they're interested in. So when you start your virtual studio, you might say do something on, maybe home recording, right? Maybe you'll make the assumption that some of your artists and clients have their own home studios, and you're sort of you're helping that out, right? You're like a piece of the puzzle of their recording scenario. And then you put out something. You notice the open rate might be really low, and the clicks are really the actual link clicks are low. You might realize that people aren't really interested in home studio tips and tricks that I might offer them, that maybe they just want to record the whole thing with me, for example. And then you might send out another email that talks about like the great ways of recording online and how easy it is, and how effortless it is. And then you see a lot of engagement with that email. Well, then you're going to get a real insight into your audience, right? And that's super important. And you want to send them things because you'll have more people recording with you, more people paying you to do it, and you're giving them things that are more valuable, so people are basically loving what you do. And that's the whole goal of this, is you want to be relevant to the people who want to hear from you. So anyway, I hope this was, it was a lot to pack into one video. I'll try to maybe sort of break this out a little bit more for you in subsequent videos, but I hope this was a more kind of nitty-gritty, more in-depth view of like the value and importance of an email list and why it's absolutely critical to your success. And it's about the most important thing besides your talent and what you do and defining yourself and branding yourself. It is the next biggest, most important asset that you have. So remember, start an email list, always keep growing it, and I'll get into ways of doing that in future videos. And until then, we'll talk to you soon, and happy recording.